Tonight, with farmers decrying the reduction in cocoa prices, the majority in Parliament is fighting the minority side of the House over calls for the dismissal of COCOBOD CEO Randy Abbey following the decision of cocoa.
It's not a plausible pathway, because if you look at what has happened, the reasons for where we are, I think Randy Abbey is rather doing a lot well and a lot better.
We have details as farmers descend heavily on government for the reduction, with some considering to hit the street or the new prices.
So there's a problem. There's a significant problem with the cost of, So the price reduction is painful.
Others were saying that they will stage a demonstration, we don't accept the price here and there. Government have to know that when the price also goes up, they also have to increase the price for us as it is, as the 70 price of the international price.
We have more for you here on Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel, Connecting Energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil Enjoy, Holy Sleep, and also by Short Pension, Trust into the Future with you. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Well, tonight, the majority in Parliament have rejected calls by the MPP colleagues on President Mahama to dismiss CEO of COCOBOD Randy Abbey following the reduction of prices of cocoa by the government. Now, on Thursday, when government announced that it has decided to reduce prices because of the challenges in the sector, the MPP group accused Dr. Randy Abbey of mismanaging the cocoa sector and demanded his immediate firing.
The new managers of the cocoa sector have reset the trading program of cocoa. Used to sell about 70% on sales and 30% on spot. They argued that that was an incompetent approach and decided to change it. And now they are selling about 70% on spot. That is why today, as prices have dipped, they are struggling and are saying that the price they had announced ends up being higher than the current prices on the market. That's number one. This action to announce a 28% reduction in the price amounts to a haircut of about 28% on close to 1 million Ghanaian cocoa farmers. Already, when you go into the cocoa growing areas, I was in my areas just a few days ago. A lot of young people are already not going into cocoa because they say the older folk who went into it, they don't see a transformation in their lives. It's left with the old, elderly, poor on the farms. When you do this, what is going to happen in subsequent years is that even those ones will not be going into the cocoa production. If they won't sell their cocoa farms to Galamsey operators, God knows what they will do.
But Chairman of the Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee, Dr. Godfred Jassau, Seydou Jassau, described the demand as completely unjustified. Dr. Jassau insists the CEO, since his appointment, has been focused on addressing the structural deficiencies within the cocoa sector.
Pathway, because if you look at what has happened, the reasons for where we are, I think Randy Abbey is rather doing a lot well and a lot better to keep the ship at sail. And so, please, let's not personalize it. There have been structural deficiencies. Randy has been able to hold on this far. He's been able to manage in a way that can guarantee us some sustainability going forward, some growth going forward. And I think that, I mean, if it's a function of management, I think we should allow the current management to implement this current reform. Let's observe. As Parliament, we'll continue to play our oversight role. We'll be monitoring every inch of this and see if there's a need for us to agree to what our opponents, our colleagues in the minority are saying. Fair. But today, I disagree completely with them.
The majority caucus also assured cocoa farmers of the government's support through the supply of fertilizers and the continuation of the free spraying program to help boost productivity.
Be rest assured that we need your industry to survive. We in Parliament are satisfied that government measures will help you. One, LBCs have been ordered to pay the money owed you. COCOBOD will pay LBCs and you'll be paid. Two, your cocoa beans that are still with you, Don't be afraid. These cocoa beans will be bought and evacuated. I know the cocoa beans you are left with now are a smaller quantity compared to what you've sold already. So please, bear with government. Let's sell that smaller quantity to them. Get paid. Let's prepare. Government is intervening in your next production cycle season with a block, because we are coming in with free fertilizers, free spraying, and free productivity improvement programs for you. We as Parliament, be assured, we will follow this and make sure that inputs gets to the right farmers. So be rest assured, with that environment, what you experience this year, you are not going to experience it next year. And that will help the growth of your industry.
Meanwhile, the majority in Parliament say the government's reforms in the cocoa sector represent the best policy decision to transform the industry. The caucus says the measures, including a 28% reduction in farm gate price of cocoa, are responsive, timely, and driven by data. Addressing journalists, the chairman of the Food and Agriculture Committee, Godfred Zedu, explained the adjustment was influenced by prevailing prices in neighboring countries in order to avert reverse smuggling.
And then we also taught that because the surrounding countries were selling at lower prices, they could actually be reverse smuggling. And if there was reverse smuggling, then it was dangerous to try and maintain the prices or even increase prices here. Well, if you did, then it means that there's a possibility that there can be a scheme to bring in more cocoa from neighboring countries to sell in Ghana at higher prices. And so all these factors exist. Why I'm very proud of the reforms that were announced yesterday, principally, is that I feel it is highly informed, very responsive, timely, and data-driven. Because we projected that this year we're going to buy about 600,000 metric tons of cocoa beans. So far, we have bought already about 530,000 metric tons. This has been bought already. And so if you are dealing with data, per the projection and from recent trends, it means that the cocoa beans left in the field, all other factors held constant, means that they are not more than 70,000 metric tons. And so it's actually wise that you reduce the producer price for the rest of the 70,000 yet to be mopped up. And so when my colleagues and some other views give the impression that all cocoa beans produced this year are going to be shortchanged and that a bag is going to sell for 2,570, is inaccurate. The buyers that didn't find Ghana's price attractive and had to go to our neighboring countries to be buying will now relocate to Ghana in response of this new price, because they already know that Ghana cocoa is premium. They actually prefer Ghana cocoa.
That's Dr. Godfred Zedu, chairman of Parliament's Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee there. Meanwhile, some farmers are unhappy with the new cocoa prices. Cocoa farmer Nana Obuade says they have begun soliciting the opinion of some cocoa farmers, some of which are already displeased with the new cocoa prices. He says some of these farmers are asking for a demonstration.
We're so annoyed that this money have not been paid, but at the end of the day, there is a pronouncement or there's a directive for the money should be paid for us. That was what we were protesting for, and at the end of the day, it has been received. If I say it has been received, there's a way out that we are going to have our money. Talking about the new price and other things, as I'm speaking to you, I'm currently at Central Region that we've met some of the cocoa farmers for them to discuss how the price came, whether we accept it or not. And most of the farmers, some is here that you can also speak to, for them also to come out with a conclusion with the meeting that we made in the Central Region, if time will permit.
What do you mean by whether they will accept it or not?
Well, when the price came, there are a lot of controversies around that. Others were saying that they will stage a demonstration, we don't accept the price here and there. But as an organization, we can't just wake up by saying that maybe the price that came, we will make a statement on it that we like it or we don't like it. Because all the stations and what other people are saying is, do we accept the price or we don't accept the price? And at the end of the day, we also have to sit down with our farmers to do the calculations and see whether the price that came is a fair price or not. That is why I'm saying that we are in the central region right now, that we are even talking to some of the farmers, and we just finished the meeting. And the farmers in the central region, Asafu, at Swedru, have now concluded that the price that came, they accepted it. But then what government have to know that when the price also goes up, they also have to increase the price for us as it is, as the 70 price of the international price.
Ghana National Association of Cocoa Farmers also say cocoa farmers have no option but to accept the new prices in good faith. Nana Aduna II speaks for the association.
Speaking as a farmer, it's unfortunate because we are even struggling with the cost of production, because any business, what you earn is, you have to be able to meet up with how much you. So speaking from that perspective, we were even struggling with the 3,600 per bag. And now they've reduced. One of the big challenges and the interrelationship with cocoa farming in Galamsey is the cost of labor. You are juggling with getting especially the younger men and the younger women to come and help with pruning the cocoa. Cocoa is a very capital intensive. Yeah. So you can't compete with what the Galamsey
pays the young people.
So there's a significant problem with the cost of. Yeah. So the price reduction is painful. However, in the way that our cocoa system is set up right now, farmers have no other option but to take it.
So that's Nana Aduna II, who speaks for the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association. This is the top story here on Joy 99.7 FM, on Love 99.5, on ATL 100.5 in Cape Coast. Well, let's do a bit more on this particular story by bringing in my colleague Caleb Ziblim, who is with our research desk, to help us put this in perspective. Caleb, based on Ghana's latest move, people have said there could be some incentive for smuggling. Does that incentive exist?
Okay, Brace, if you can hear me, right before Ghana increased our funding price last year, somewhere in October, Cote d'Ivoire increased theirs to 3,500. And then Ghana followed suit by increasing ours to 3,600. Now, this was done to prevent smuggling from Ghana.
Send me a high or something.
Now, this was done to prevent smuggling from Ghana. It was a little bit higher than Cote d'Ivoire. But then when the world market prices when the market started dropping, buyers were not buying from Ghana because Ghana's cocoa was seen as expensive. So now there was incentive for people to take their cocoa beans to other countries where they can get buyers immediately. So some were going to Togo, some were also going to Cameroon and Nigeria. But then again, it's very difficult to smuggle your beans out of the country because of the immigration officers and the law enforcement agencies' networks. So again, before the reduction of the farm gate prices, there was actually incentive for farmers to take their cocoa beans to other countries where they can get instant payments. Because in Ghana, our farm gate price was too high. Now that the price has been reduced, and then we have assurance from COCOBOD that they're going to buy all the remaining beans on the market. And in fact, we're not even going to export our beans for the rest of the season because COCOBOD has indicated that the rest of the beans will be processed locally. The challenge will arise should there be delayment in payments because once you delay payments, farmers will try to find alternatives elsewhere. And then the largest competitor is Cote d'Ivoire. And in Cote d'Ivoire, they are experiencing almost the same thing Ghana is experiencing. Because their price is also a bit on the high side. Remember, theirs was about $2,500. So once you have high price in Cote d'Ivoire, buyers again do not want to go and buy the very high cocoa prices.
$2,500 per ton or per what?
Yes, so per bag, per 64 kg bag.
$2,500.
3,500 cedis.
Cedis,
Sorry
okay.
about that. 3,500 cedis per 64 kg bag. That's what that's what the farm gate price in Cote d'Ivoire is. So because Cote d'Ivoire's price is a bit on the high side, buyers still do not want to get Cote d'Ivoire's cocoa. So Cote d'Ivoire is experiencing almost the same thing that Ghana is experiencing. And some analysts are projecting that Cote d'Ivoire might even follow Ghana's suit and reduce their farm-based price. Because in fact, once you have ready markets to buy your cocoa, the smugglers will find a way into your net. So which is why some people say reverse smuggling. The cocoa can come from Cote d'Ivoire now into Ghana, and Ghana might benefit. So Cote d'Ivoire will possibly follow suit or try and lock in the sales of their cocoa very soon. So Ghana has tried to prevent this from happening, and then because Cote d'Ivoire is our largest competitor, currently all the cocoa beans should be shipping toward the Ghanaian market because there's ready market now. But in Cote d'Ivoire, we also have indication that their warehouses are piled up with cocoa because the buyers do not want to pay for expensive cocoa.
I'm grateful to you, Caleb Ziblim. He's a member of our research desk here at Joe News. Let me bring in Dr. Godfred Jessau. He's chairman Food and Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee of Parliament. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Now, with the fears that lower prices could push cocoa farmers to sell off their farms to galamseyers, what must we do to prevent that from happening?
All right, thank you very much. I'm sure I'm speaking to Ahanda Pele.
Doctor.
It's so good to speak to you.
Good to have you, sir.
I think that, look, it's a Hydra-headed problem. And I admire your approach. We've got to be constructive in this. There is climate change and its effects being observed across our country and our region. Now, at the same time, we have threat of galamsey, whose immediate process and outcome appear to better economic decisions for farmers to take decisions. Remember, our workforce in the cocoa subsector appear to be aging workers, and so they don't even know when the next death may call anybody. So people are increasingly taking very rational decisions, and one of them is that if I die tomorrow, what happens to my cocoa field? So can I offload it now and take the money? So that exists. But I'm aware, as part of the regulations and law, a bill coming to Parliament, there's some indication that we will be putting in some regulation to be able to deal with that threat as well. The fight against galamsey, you and I know how far it's going. At least in regions that we have cocoa plantations, I'm confident that there's continued for galamsey to the extent that they will want to combine cocoa fields to be able to. And the president, the executive president, has also made a pronouncement.
What incentive is that? Because we've seen farmers do videos, and in those videos we see them talking about their willingness to sell their farms.
Yes. So the fact that there's that on the ground fight against galamsey means even the galamsey venturer who will want to part away with money in exchange for a cocoa field will have a second thought, because you don't know whether if you do that and want to go into galamsey, you will even be allowed to go into galamsey. So the conditions are not as dangerous as we had a few months ago. And so I think that thing, and with the current environment, governance environment and reforms that have been announced, I'm confident that the farmer groups, the cocoa fields will be protected, because there's room for in increased sustainability, increased earnings from cocoa fields. We will be processing at least 500,000 tons of beans in country. That will create value-added jobs and ready market for that quantity. So these experiences that we've had in the past few weeks, I'm confident will not recur.
You've also had the farmers threatening strike or demonstration because of these prices. Couldn't government have adopted another strategy of probably finding ways to probably support the farmers, just so you don't really give them that much of heart? Couldn't that have happened?
So yes, that's a plausible proposal. I think it's possible. And change management. You are a farmer. You've sold some of your beans at a certain price, and now you've been asked to sell it at a lower price. That's reduction in income, and clearly your reaction cannot be positive. But I maintain that the cocoa beans quantum that is left is relatively smaller.
Do we know the numbers?
Yes, we've had a projection. We are supposed to buy about 600,000 metric tons this year. So far, the records from COCOBOD show that 530,000 metric tons have been bought already.
So about 70,000 more.
You have about 70,000 metric tons left to be mopped up if all other factors remain constant. And so this is a relatively smaller amount. And so the effect will not be as drastic as we are being made to believe.
Okay. All right. Stay with me. Let me bring in a farmer. Okay. General Nana Obuade Boating Bonsu, President Concerned Farmers Association. I mean, you've heard government say that the situation we find ourselves in, we needed to take these measures. I've heard some of your farmers, you say your farmers are planning on going on demonstration. How do we get them to understand government's point of view from where it's coming from, so that together you work to see how the cocoa industry can be sustained?
Well, thank you very much. That is exactly that we are doing. I'm at the central region now, heading towards the western region, and then also trying to explain things further for them to understand how the situation is and how come now reach this stage. And then also for them also to understand that we don't have anything apart from this cocoa that we do. So at the end of the day, we need to exercise patience and then also try the nurses in which I think the price is not going to be as it is, allowed it to go up. And then what the majority are saying is the central region is if only the government will listen to them, that when the price goes up, they will also increase the cocoa price also to shoot up. And when it comes down, they will also do same. So the central region people, the people of Sodro have also accepted that. But those in the western part of the country and some parts in the Ashanti region, they are the people that currently they want to take up demonstration, which we are heading towards the place just to talk to them, to explain things further for them to understand the situation.
So they just want assurances that when the price go up, theirs will also go up.
Exactly. That is what the group that we met in the central region, that is what they are saying. But the other groups and the other farmers around some part of the eastern, western, and then Ashanti region, they are the people that they wanted to protest. And they are people that we are also reaching them to talk to them, for them to understand the situation on the ground.
Have some of your members started receiving payment? Because we understood that payment will start today.
Well, we've not received payment yet, but maybe by the close of maybe to Monday or so, I think maybe there's something good news from there. But there's one thing that we have to know, which nobody is talking about it. The cocoa trees are going. We are talking about price today. But the trees that produce the beans that we have in the price today, it is going. They are cutting it all down. When you go to the central region where I just left, there are pillars all over some of them, their farms, which they are going to destroy all and then pave the way for real estate. Ashanti region, the same thing. We've not heard anything from anybody talking about this. So we've reported the case to the COCOBOD, which the legal team are working on it. But I think it is too slow, which we need a quick reaction because we don't know what will happen tomorrow. We don't know what will happen tomorrow, but that is the only hope that we have. And when it gets out from our hand, I think the collapse of COCOBOD will come to an end, because at the end of the day, most of the cocos in Ghana have been raised red flag. There are red flag all over. Within almost 70%, which will cut it all of it down.
Okay. Former General, I'm grateful to you. Former General Nana Obuade Boating Bonsu is President, Concerned Farmers Association. Dr. Jessel, I mean, he said farmers are now asking for some assurances that when the prices pick up on the international market, their prices as well will go up. You are the chairman. Is there any assurance like that?
Yes, I thank Nana for the efforts he's making. And let me say clearly that last week when we made COCOBOD, this was one of the principal proposals we made. And since then, we've engaged in meetings, and thankfully, government has accepted this. And yesterday, it was announced that there will be automatic price adjustments. But there's a base that no matter how the prices are adjusted, 70% of the FOB price would be paid to farmers. And so let me add my voice that farmers should be rest assured that with that new financing and pricing model, there's hope. If well prices go up, farmers gain. If it goes, whatever price it is, farmers have a guaranteed percentage of at least 70% to be able to take home. At the same time, domestic bonds are going to be raised to finance the purchasing process. That means there will be timely purchase and payment to farmers. That, I believe, will allow their finances to be aggregated for better gain and outcomes.
But those cocoa bonds, wouldn't COCOBOD be the one to incur some cost because of interest that you need to pay to these bondholders?
Yes, that will happen. However, if you contextualize it against the current macro economy that we are witnessing in the country, you followed how Bank of Ghana sets policy rates, interest rates, and then also exchange rates. I think that once they are short-term bonds and they will be raised annually to be able to finance this process, the conditions will not be as prohibitive as we've witnessed in the past. And that should be sustainable.
Well, we see how it goes. But as other people have argued that in 2018, 2019, when there was a reduction, the government then didn't reduce prices. Why couldn't it be the same case around this time?
You see, I don't like this line of argument. But
okay.
You see, there's no moral justification to ask that question. This is the record of COCOBOD that we are dealing with. I just refer you, Ahanta Pele, to the Auditor General's report. Take a quick read between 2017 report up to 2024 report. You will find that the COCOBOD and the model they've implemented has resulted in heavy losses. In fact, in 2017, there was 161.2 million Ghana cedis loss, according to the Auditor General. In 2018, we had 78.4 million Ghana cedis loss. In 2019, 320.6 million Ghana cedis loss. So this is the kind of COCOBOD we are talking, and that trajectory remains until 2024.
Okay, all right.
To the extent that we couldn't raise syndicated loan. So this is a very bad record.
Okay.
That you shouldn't refer to. You shouldn't refer to it as a base. Let's think innovatively and see how we can constructively support the industry.
Okay.
But Nana mentioned about cocoa trees being going away
yes.
for real estate, and so I think this is a real concern. We will take note of that, and my committee will do some visit and also engage COCOBOD to see what we can do to be able to reverse this.
I'm grateful. Dr. Godfrey Jassau.
Thank you so much.
I'm grateful for joining us here as Chairman for Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee of Parliament. Professor Robert Adu is an agri-economist. Prof, I mean, from where you stand, what must government and farmers do for there to be some understanding amongst stakeholders?
Thank you very much, Kojo. I was expecting that government would have done a lot of consultation, but it appears that they rushed into announcing this automatic price adjustment. And I'm not surprised that many farmers are not comfortable with it. If you look at the educational level of our farmers, just about 10% of them have tertiary education. About 20% of them have second cycle education. A whopping 70% of them have never been to school, or if they went to school at all, they stopped at JHS or primary school. So for such people, if you say that when price goes up, we're going to adjust it upward. When it comes down, it is coming down. As though cocoa is like petrol or diesel. I think we are not really being fair to these farmers. They want stability. They want a price that they can use for planning. Even in loan administration, farmers will tell you that if you give it to me at flat rate, and I know that this is how much I am paying every month or every year, that is what I'm comfortable with. Reducing balance would have been cheaper, but because the amount is varying, they are not comfortable. So I think that government has to just go back to these farmers, discuss with them, and agree on a certain average price per bag.
Okay.
The farmer is aware that I am going to get this amount when I sell my cocoa. If I'm going for a loan, I know how to negotiate for my loan. This idea of introducing automaticity, if you like, to farmers who are less educated, it is not going to help anybody.
All right. Prof, I'm grateful to you for your thought here on our show. Professor Robert Edu is an agric economist. That's how we wrap up today's top story. Thanks to Telecel, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil, and also Short Pension Trust. Up next is Kwekwa Sante with Ghana Connect.